Welcome back. Now we're about to have a parenting conversation that has been difficult for a lot of parents to tell other parents who happen to be their peers in this parenting game. And it is a game, especially when children seem to be winning the game against some parents who haven't figured out, how to checkmate some issues. This is a major issue of childhood obesity. Joining us to talk is Coco. And she has mentioned in the past that her first memories in school were being told she was expressive and a good communicator. It's helped her over the years to utilize this skill to help effectively communicate with people and help young people. Welcome back to the show, Coco.
Thank you. I'm excited. I particularly feel like I live here now.
Oh,
However, I want to move in here, as it were.
You definitely brighten up our couch. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
But this is a delicate one.
Yeah.
It's a touchy one.
Yeah.
Too often, we're walking through the supermarket, seeing a young girl or young boy that is wearing clothes that are probably 2-3 years above what they should be wearing. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of parents buying most likely adult-sized shoes for their kids. And this is probably as a result of the adult-sized portions these children are eating. Mm-hmm. So what do you think this problem is? Obviously, we know it's a parenting issue, but let's hear your side of things.
Well, first we have to talk about, what are the factors, what really causes obesity. Poor unhealthy food choices, bad family habits, lack of exercise. Sometimes a toxic environment can create that as well, and late night eating. But first let's talk about what happens in the home. Parents, on the other hand, are the biggest enablers. Let's put aside the issue of health issues, which are, not quite minimal. Let's talk about what the parents are providing. What do we have what did they have in their fridge? And if you have, if you have like unhealthy choices like pizzas, leftover chicken and chips, and soda and all that stuff, it is what the child sees. That's what the child will eat. So you have to make sure that you fill your fridge with healthier choices. But parents sometimes will feel like, okay, we're in a hurry. We do not have time to make that cooked food. And then our kids now become obese because they do not find cooked food to eat. And at the end of the day, they tend to get used to this junk food. And sometimes they now eventually when you have the time to make the cooked food, they reject it because they have become accustomed to eating, the junk food, and as I was saying earlier on, I had a parent one time whose child was like, God help me, maybe the child was probably like an adult 18 or 20, and I was a bit concerned, and I walked up to the parent and I said to her, is your child okay? Is there? And she said to me, oh no, he doesn't have a health issue. She said to me that he just likes to eat burgers and pizzas.
Okay.
And I said to her, okay, who buys this junk food? And she said to me, that she does. And I'm like, so who is the parent and who is the child? You are killing your child. You are an enabler. If that child refuses cooked food, and wants this junk food and, continually throws tantrums that if it's not burger, I'm not going to eat it, then you have to insist. Do not allow the child manipulate you. What you need to do is that just keep telling the child you have to eat cooked food, and if the child keeps throwing tantrums, the child will eventually come to the realization that he or she is hungry and will go for that cooked food.
So now we've sort of turned it into a nutritional topic here, but we know that this is majorly a parenting issue.
Yes, it is.
A lot of parents have not figured out how to say no to their child. Now, for whatever reason, it could have taken many years for this child to be conceived. It could be this child is the prized possession of their grandparents. It could be this child is the heir to a wealthy, lineage, or is a prince or is a princess, and they just do not want this child to throw tantrums, be upset, or feel anger. So what is the parent's role at this point? How do they take control of this? Maybe it's already a mess. Where do they start from now? They've realized they've made a mistake. What do they do next?
Well, I'm a mother of one myself. I have an only child, and when you've waited so long to have one child, you really do not want to hasten the child being, going back to heaven. You really want to keep the child here. So when a child, and that's why we, just because we have suffered, we've our wait time has lingered. It doesn't mean we should do that. So back to what I said earlier. What you do is that you gradually, you understand, you do not fall into that manipulation. You do not, because kids tend to manipulate. When they see that, okay, I'll just throw those tantrums once or twice, he or she might just budge.
Yeah.
But when you stand firm, kids eventually come to the realization that they're hungry. Trust me, because when you see that, okay, mommy is not getting all carried away, or grandma is not getting all carried away with your tantrums, eventually you will get hungry. And trust me, you will eat.
So we said parents here, which is both mom and dad.
Yeah.
And you could have one parent come to that realization that, okay, this child needs help, this child needs to be controlled, disciplined. But the other parent is not falling in line with that. So this is a touchy area. The mindset is, I don't want my child to go through what I went through. As a parent, probably when you were growing up as a child, you probably didn't get all those snacks and all those good things. You couldn't go to the restaurants, and now you want your child to experience this. So where do we go from there?
Well, parents are always enablers in these things, and that is why the husband, or rather the father and the mother must have private discussions concerning this, you understand, and agree. Let it not be that you are trying to lord it over your husband, or the wife is trying to lord it over the man. Yeah. Both of you have to have a conversation that is centered on your child. This is not about you now. You understand? Because what we were exposed to as kids is not what the kids are exposed to now. They have more choices. So the mother and the father have to sit together and have conversations and say, look, let's put our child, let our child be the center, of this thing. Let us concern ourselves with our child being healthy and not falling sick. And I'm sure any reasonable parent would know that, would not want their child to maybe fall sick or develop weight problems, yes, which can eventually lead to maybe a thing like bullying, sure, or being body shamed,
in school.
In school, and even at home.
A lot of parents and cousins, extended family do the bullying thing with the mindset that it might encourage the child to make that decision themselves. Does that work?
No, because at the end, there was a time I went to see a friend of mine, and I heard her telling her child, she had dished some food for the child, and I heard her telling her child, okay, can you please, and the child was like, well, mommy, I've had 1 or 2 spoons, I'm fine. Wow. And the mother wouldn't listen. The mother said, no, you must finish that food, and eventually, if you give the child a mountain of eba, the child is going to finish it because the child has gotten accustomed to that. So at the end of the day, the child developed that. Okay. And the mother started body shaming that child.
After
you understand?
She essentially
After she had enabled it.
Wow.
And she now says, you eat too much.
Wow.
You're always eating.
Wow.
But he can't stop because you have created that, and then you have to undo what you have done.
So, Coco, thank you so much for coming to talk to us about this. We've only just started to scratch the surface of the deeper issues,
yes,
when it comes to childhood obesity. Of course, we do understand that there are health issues behind obesity as well, and we are not oblivious of that. But let's think about this from the parenting angle. We would love to hear your thoughts. Use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC. Tag us, WakeUpNigeria, TVCE, and let's know what you think.